Hey brother, welcome back to this Making of a Nice Guy series. In this video, I want to talk to you about some of the positives of being a nice guy, some of the positives of our trials and tribulations that have contributed to becoming a nice guy. I know that's going to sound weird as we're trying to unravel the hairball of being a nice guy and be free of these self-limiting beliefs, but we also have to acknowledge the good that comes through the trials and tribulations that we experience in our life, because it's part of the formation of who we are and who we've become. And when we can appreciate that, we can stop labeling ourselves as broken. We can stop labeling ourselves as bad. We can stop believing that life is against us. We can actually start to see that life is a kind, generous, patient, loving teacher who allows us to experience what we need to experience as many times as we need to experience it until we finally learn what we need to learn, what we need to own for ourselves, that we know, that we know, that we know. Life stands by and patiently waits for us to catch up, for us to get it. And so when I look back on my life, I recognize that my childhood was turbulent. There was alcoholism and domestic violence and 2 a.m. mornings, but there was also resiliency. I also had to get up every morning and go to school and pretend like everything was okay. I also had to adapt and overcome, which was something that I learned in the Marines, a motto that I adopted there into that brotherhood. And it was something that I didn't really appreciate or realize until I did this work and started learning about terms like resiliency, where we are able to snap back from very quickly circumstances and situations that are uncomfortable, where we can get back to center, where we're not emotionally spun out or strung out, where things don't throw us off balance for days and weeks at a time. This is something that has served me in my development and my growth. It's actually something that has been a benefit to me that I have possessed the entire time and really didn't acknowledge or appreciate or be grateful for, because I labeled those past moments as trauma, as drama, as something that I didn't want to deal with. But when I started facing those previous moments and saying, oh, you know what, hold on. Yes, there was uncomfortable moments, there was discomfort in there, there was things that I didn't like, things that I don't really want more of, but I can also appreciate how they shaped me and grew me and gave me the ability to be super resilient. And I can now take that superpower and I can use it for the good of others. I can help men like you watching this video understand how to bounce back, how to be okay, how to come home to himself, how to finally stop labeling himself as bad, how to be able to see both sides of the story and understand that yes, he's in pain, but his wife, his girlfriend, his children, his coworkers, his boss, his clients, his extended family, his friends, strangers on the street, they're also going through something as well. Not to diminish himself or make himself less important, but to be able to say yes and. Yes, I hurt and I see that others hurt, and that sucks. I have empathy for that. I can hold space for them. I can have compassion for them. I can be strong enough to care for myself and be able to be a guide for them, to be able to model for them what it looks like to love myself and care for myself and be happy and whole and healthy. I can give that version of myself to them as a gift that I offer, because that's who I am. That's something that we learn in this work. It's something that we learn by talking with each other. So I want to invite you to tell me your story. Tell me your resiliency story. Tell me about the things that helped shape you and grow you, things that actually made you stronger, that in the moment felt uncomfortable, were undesirable, things that you didn't ask for, but when you look back on them, you're actually like, you know what? I can actually see how that made me stronger. I can actually see how I can apply that today in my life now to make choices for myself so that I can move forward, so I can challenge my self-limiting beliefs, my stories about myself, and I can ask myself, is that true? And does that serve me? And do I want to live that way? I can make choices for myself and I can move forward and I can experience something different, because I can guarantee you, until we do that, we're going to repeat the same decisions, the same triggers, the same emotions, the same being affected by our feelings, being pushed around by our emotions. And we're going to experience the same things over and over and over again until we change our beliefs, until we have a different perspective, until things change from the inside. The outside is just going to be a groundhog day of the same old thing. So here's what I'm doing. I'm inviting you into a conversation. I want to hear your story. I want to be able to ask you clarification questions and challenge some of those beliefs with you, and be able to point to resources and share my own insights and perspective with you, insights from men that I've worked with and helped unlock their own freedom and come home to themselves and stop labeling themselves as bad, and be able to give a whole and healthy and happy version of themselves to the people in their life. There's a link in the description where you can pick a day and time on my calendar to schedule a 1-hour call where we can talk with each other and we can have that conversation and we can walk and talk for a while. And I promise you, brother, you're going to be transformed by the end of that call. Your life won't flip upside down overnight, but because you'll start to ask yourself questions, you'll start to hear yourself for the first time, you can't help but be transformed. We can't help but be transformed when we walk and talk with each other, when we face these self-limiting beliefs and challenge them. So until you schedule that call, nothing is going to change. But once you do, you'll be on the path. You'll be on the path to change. So until then, I want to remind you to be kind to yourself. And I'll talk to you soon.